Dear friends, welcome to this TRB Lecturer Exam Preparation Series 2020. This is the 8th video out of 20. In this video, I am going to discuss Tolstoy's infection theory, which forms one of the chapters in I.A. Richards' Principles of Literary Criticism. This book has got 35 chapters in which this particular topic, Tolstoy's infection theory, forms 23rd chapter. So what is this? According to I.A. Richards, a work of art was not the record of beauty already existent elsewhere, but the expression of an emotion felt by the artist and conveyed to the spectator. I repeat, a work of art was not the record of beauty already that existed elsewhere, but the expression of an emotion felt by the artist and conveyed to the spectator. So, according to this particular theory, so a work of art is not just the reflection of something, whereas it is the feeling and emotion that is felt by the writer and that is expressed. So, based on this idea, Tolstoy gives the idea of infection theory. According to him, art becomes more or less infectious in consequence of three conditions. So there are three occasions in which a work of art will be influencing others. How? Point number one. In consequence of a greater or lesser peculiarity of the sensation conveyed. So according to this particular idea, if an idea is ordinary, definitely that will not be artistic. For example, in newspaper, they will say something like this. If the dog bites you, it is not a news. Instead, if you bite the dog, then that becomes a news. Like that, peculiarity of the sensation conveyed means if the author conveys a strange sensation, strange experience in a strange way, then definitely that gives the artistic experience. Number two, in consequence of a greater or lesser clearness of the transmission of this sensation. So this is the second point. Clearness of the transmission. That means once the writer conveys the experience, that should be conveyed in a clear cut way. If the author has got any confusion in the vehicle of transmission, for example, if the language is not good, if the language is not artistic, if the language is confused, then definitely the idea of the artist cannot be conveyed. So secondly, if a work of art has got clearness of the transmission, so this is about the first one is about the experience, second one is about the transmission. If there is clarity in transmission, definitely it will be infecting others. The third, in consequence of the sincerity of the artist, that is, of the greater or lesser force with which the artist himself experiences the sensation which he is conveying. It is very important, a writer, unless he experiences that strangeness, unless he enjoys what he conveys, so it cannot be conveyed properly. That is why it is said, which the artist himself experiences the sensation which he is conveying. So the experience that is experienced by the writer should be conveyed to the maximum, should be conveyed as it is. If there is anything lesser or if anything that is more, definitely that artistic experience cannot be fruitful, cannot be complete. So if we convey these points, according to Tolstoy's infection theory, there are three occasions in which an art will become infectious. Number one, peculiarity of the sensation conveyed. If the experience is strange, it will be infectious. Second, the clarity of the transmission. If the idea is conveyed properly, then definitely the artistic experience can be conveyed. Third one, the artist must himself or herself should experience the same. The same experience should be conveyed properly by the artist. So in this connection, here Tolstoy concludes that degree of infection is a highly ambiguous phrase. It may be equivalent to two things. Number one, the number of persons who may be infected. Number two, the completeness with which the experience is reproduced in them. So, number one, how many people may be influenced by a work of art. Number two, the completeness, whether the artist is able to convey his whole experience, whether the artist is able to translate all the experiences into a work of art. That decides this infection theory. So, dear friends, with this, the discussion of Tolstoy's infection theory is over. It is very simple. Just under three occasions, it will be infectious. So don't be misled by the word infection, because it is a season of so many diseases. So infection, it is a positive influence. Dear friends, what is presented in this video is just one chapter from I.A. Richards' Principles of Literary Criticism. The rest of the chapters are discussed in the main course. Hope this video is useful. Kindly share this among your friends and subscribe to our channel for more videos. Thank you. All the best.